My birthday's August 18th. I was about to turn 14. Right. So
Here's what the...
My first follower.
What is the most humiliating thing someone made you do at their house? I was 13 and had never been to a sleepover before. When Brandon from my science class invited me to his house for the weekend, I was so excited I could barely focus in class. His family lived in this massive house with a circular driveway and those fancy lion statues by the front door. My mom dropped me off Friday evening with my old backpack and sleeping bag. The house was even bigger inside. Everything looked like it came from a magazine. Brandon's mom answered the door wearing pearls and this fake smile that made my stomach feel weird. She looked at my beat-up sneakers and said, "Welcome," in a voice that didn't sound welcome welcoming at all. Brandon showed me around, and I tried not to touch anything. Their kitchen was bigger than our entire living room. His dad barely looked up from his newspaper when we walked by. Around dinner time, his mom called us in. The table was set with actual cloth napkins and more forks than I knew what to do with. That's when things got strange. Brandon sat down at the table, but his mom pointed to a folding chair they'd set up by the kitchen counter. She said guests eat separately in their house because the dining room table was only for family members. I looked at Brandon, expecting him to say something, but he just stared at his plate. So I ate my sandwich alone at the counter while they had steak and fancy vegetables at the real table. I could hear them talking and laughing, but I felt invisible. After dinner, I thought things would get normal again when we went to play video games. Around 11, Brandon said it was time for bed. He led me down this long hallway to what he called the guest room. When he opened the door, my heart sank. It wasn't a bedroom at all. It was a storage room filled with boxes, old furniture, and Christmas decorations. In the corner was a tiny closet with the door open. His mom appeared behind us with a yoga mat and a pillow that looked like it came from a garbage bag. She said I'd be sleeping in the closet because the actual guest bed was being cleaned. The closet was maybe 3 feet wide and smelled like mothballs. There wasn't even a light inside. I wanted to call my mom so badly, but my phone was dead, and I was too embarrassed to ask to use theirs. I curled up on that thin yoga mat, listening to Brandon watching TV in his huge bedroom next door. The closet was pitch black, and every time I moved, hangers would hit me in the head. But Saturday morning was when it got really humiliating. I woke up needing to pee so badly it hurt. When I asked where the bathroom was, Brandon's dad stopped me in the hallway. He said guests weren't allowed to use the upstairs bathrooms because they were for family only. He pointed toward the basement stairs and said there was a toilet down there I could use. The basement wasn't finished. Just concrete floors, exposed pipes, and spider webs everywhere. And the toilet was just sitting there in the open with no walls around it, no door, nothing. As I walked down with my toothbrush, I heard Brandon laughing upstairs. When I looked back, he was at the top of the stairs with his phone, recording me. He was filming me walking down to pee in their creepy basement like some kind of animal. I used the toilet as fast as I could, but when I came back upstairs, Brandon was still giggling. He showed me his phone screen. He'd already posted it on his story with the caption, "Basement Troll Alert." I could see other kids from school had already viewed it. I felt sick to my stomach. I asked if I could call my mom, but his parents said their phone was broken and I'd have to wait until they went out later. So I sat there for hours, knowing that video was spreading around school, feeling trapped in that house. When his mom finally drove me home that afternoon, she didn't say a single word the entire drive. I ran straight to my room and didn't come out until Monday. At school, kids were calling me closet boy and making jokes about basement bathrooms. The teacher found out about the video and made Brandon delete it, but screenshots were already everywhere. For the rest of 8th grade, anytime someone had a sleepover party, they'd joke about whether they had closet rooms available. I never got invited to another sleepover again. What is the most humiliating thing someone made you do at their house? I was 13 and had never been to a sleepover before. When Brandon from my science class invited me to his house for the weekend, I was so excited I could barely focus in class. His family lived in this massive house with a circular driveway and those fancy lion statues by the front door. My mom dropped me off Friday evening with my old backpack and sleeping bag. The house was even bigger inside. Everything looked like it came from a magazine. Brandon's mom answered the
My first follower, thank